Due to Americans' rigid maintenance schedules and strict adherence to principles of safe operations, emergencies will always be the exception rather than the rule. But we fully recognize the possibility of that exception. Never be deluded into believing that it cannot happen to you, for it certainly could, and you must prepare for it as if it will. Learn the principles of evacuation so well that should an emergency arise, you can respond immediately with the appropriate action. Learn it so thoroughly that no matter how suddenly it occurs, you will be able to give maximum protection to your passengers and to yourself. Recent tests run on the 727 and 400 Astrojets, combined with earlier tests, show that evacuation can be completed within 90 seconds while using only half of the available exits. In some emergencies, the requirement for a rapid evacuation is known in advance. Consider the time remaining in order to properly plan that which you can prepare for in advance. Check your cabin, hat racks and buffet for loose articles that might become flying missiles. Select capable passengers for the exit windows and brief them on window removal and stowage. Set up the evacuation slides at the exits you believe will be usable, and review in your mind what action you will take in the event the slides will not extend or inflate. Brief your passengers on proper bracing methods, and make sure that lap-seated children and babies are firmly held but not under the parent's belt. Collect and stow all loose articles and personal belongings, including high-heeled shoes. If there is further time, advise that window exits are used 1 foot first, followed by the head and shoulders, and that the slides are jumped into feet first. And most important, make sure that you are belted in firmly. Speed and sureness of action is essential, but not until after the airplane has come to a complete stop. Action on your part at the first sensing of touchdown might result in finding yourself completely incapacitated due to more violent lurching which might follow. You would be incapable of carrying out your responsibility to your passengers. Do not depend upon assistance from the flight deck crew in evacuating your passengers, as injuries or more pressing duties may render such assistance impossible. Be in total command at your exit during the evacuation. Give instructions to your passengers in a loud, firm voice, and give them continuously. People are found to respond to authority in emergencies and will believe that your commands are the keys to their safety. Meet any individual hesitancy with vigor. Grab an arm, slap the behind, or even shove if blocking of your exit is imminent. Keep repeating the command, jump feet first. The repetition to those in the aisle will better prepare them for action. Strive for a rate of 1 passenger down each second, as you see it being done here. Do not let them sit and scoot. Call out to men on the ground to assist at the bottom of the slide and to direct passengers well away from the airplane. When opening the overwing exits, it is vital to the rapid outflow of passengers to get the window section out of the way. Notice here how the stewardess has trouble with the window falling over. It is better to shove the window over into the next row of seats to the rear than to lose time trying to balance it in the same seat row as the window opening. Also, notice the inability of the stewardess to properly control the flow of passengers through both wing exits or to divert them forward or aft. Better that she stand in the seat across the aisle. Watch here how after assisting with the window, she crosses the aisle and directs the passengers from there. Constantly checking up and down the aisle, she can determine when a window pileup occurs, the direction in which to divert some of the action. Watch those passengers who come out through the window head first and observe how this method slows down the evacuation. Tests show conclusively that the method of 1 foot first, followed by the head and shoulders, can raise the evacuation rate to 1 passenger every 2 seconds. Call out to them repeatedly to go out 1 foot first. All usable stairs should be extended or lowered immediately. Once in position, this method of evacuation is extremely rapid, and with all gear extended is almost pilot-proof. On the 400 forward air stair, hold the passengers back until it is fully down to avoid slowing down or fouling the extension operation. All aft stairs under the tail can be used immediately. As soon as the stair starts to descend, it may be immediately loaded with passengers. Their weight will actually assist the stair in being lowered into position. There are times when emergencies occur without any prior warning. After what appears to be a normal approach to landing, your actions that follow such a sudden development will be the direct result of advanced planning and study which you have put into such a problem, and how alert you are to the way the situation develops. Each stewardess must immediately command the evacuation at her assigned exit. Start shouting instructions to your passengers immediately upon sensing the emergency. Warn everyone to grab their ankles and to remain belted in until all motion of the airplane has stopped. Tell them that all high-heeled shoes must be removed and to leave personal belongings behind. Shout to the men nearest the window exits to get them open as soon as the plane has come to rest. As the evacuation gets underway, command them continuously and with a firm tone of authority. Call upon able-bodied passengers to assist you as needed, for you should not count on help from the flight deck crew. When a retracted gear or belly landing has been made, evacuation will be slowed somewhat by the inability of stairs to fully extend to the correct angle. Able-bodied children and adults will only slightly be slowed down in scrambling out. Although the 727 rear stair requires only crouching to evacuate, the 400 rear stair, shown here, has an additional obstacle to rapid evacuation. In the belly landing configuration, the lower segment of the stair remains in a folded condition and has to be climbed around on either side. The slides in this configuration extend with an extremely shallow angle, which is inadequate for full descent. The technique here is to keep repeatedly instructing the passengers to roll off the side. As soon as you have men assisting at the bottom, get them to continue these commands to roll off the side in order to speed up the flow of evacuating passengers. If this roll off the slide technique is not used, a serious pileup can develop on the slide. Be constantly on the alert for pileups during all phases of evacuation at all types of exits. Studies of past emergencies show that under duress and the threat of loss of life, a smoothly proceeding evacuation or escape can suddenly turn into disaster. At the first sign of an imminent pileup, slow down or redirect the flow of passengers until the situation is relieved. Do not hesitate to call to those assisting outside for the removal of a fallen or injured passenger, for this action may instantly remove the threat of panic-generating congestion. Be prepared when emergency equipment fails in any way to take alternate steps. Here, when the slide hangs up on the door, the stewardess takes too long before sending a man out to free the slide. With the evacuation rate being 1 per second down a slide, when the chips are down, any delay in making the slide operational could cost 1 life per second of delay plus your own life. Remember, time counted in seconds is your most precious ingredient. At the very first sign of failure, take your alternate steps immediately. In the case of a slide, send men down at once to extend and hold the slide. With a belly landing, tell the men to move in and hold the slide at the midpoint for a steeper angle and faster rate of flow. You can see here how people pile up and fall off when the slide is held so far out. The ability to respond to emergencies develops with self-confidence. This confidence is, to a great extent, dependent on how well we are trained to meet a situation. Therefore, it is essential that you be alert to the development of unusual situations and that you know your procedures. This knowledge will save lives. It will enable you to supply the leadership that your passengers will expect and must depend upon.